there is comfort in the back of my mind to say that, you know what, if anything should pop off, God forbid, God forbid, I do have a buffer. And that is a peace of mind that can not even be compared to anything else. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. In this specific video, I want to chat to you guys about a specific goal that I did reach, that I set out for myself in 2025. I am an extremely goal-orientated individual. I always have been and I probably always will be. So regardless of what bucket we're talking to, be it spirituality, be it health, be it my career, be it my relationships, be it my finances, I'm typically someone who likes having goals in those various buckets and working towards them. So one of the main financial goals that I had for myself this year was to rebuild my emergency fund. And I say rebuild because I had to start from scratch. That conversation is going to be a video for another day, but essentially I was starting from zero. And I had an emergency fund previously for about a 3-month period, and this year the goal was to rebuild my emergency fund for a period of 6 months. So to have an emergency fund that would last me for 6 months. So this video, I'm actually going to be chatting to you guys about how I went about achieving this specific goal. I think a lot of people sort of resonate with this type of thing because everyone would like to have an emergency fund. So basically hearing how someone else did it can give you ideas in terms of how you can also approach that goal. So if you're interested in finding out how I managed to reach that goal of having a fully funded 6 months worth of an emergency fund, then stick around for the rest of this video. So the first thing that I actually want to say to preface this video is to basically talk to anyone watching this video and thinking to themselves that, well, Yanga is a CA, so she's probably, you know, earning at a specific level. So it's obviously easier for her to reach a specific financial milestone. I want to dispel that for many reasons, but one of the reasons why I want to dispel that is because we should understand or have an appreciation for the fact that how much someone actually earns doesn't necessarily translate to them being able to steward their money well. And that's not to even say that I'm earning like as much as I wish I was earning. But that is just to say that someone who is, you know, who doesn't have much is able to actually have control over their finances and steward their finances in a much better way than someone who is earning really, really well. So I don't want you to be discouraged if you're not earning as much as you would like to, or you don't have a second income stream, or whatever the case may be. We all have different priorities and we all have different responsibilities as well. So the situation is going to be unique to you, but don't focus on, well, this person has X amount that's coming into their bank account, so it's probably easier for them. You need to just focus on the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are that there are principles in place that one needs to follow for a specific outcome to be the case. So that's one thing that I wanted to say. And the reason I also wanted to say that is so that we're not obsessing over the quantum. We're not focusing so much on how much should one save, or how much was Yanga saving on a monthly basis, or whatever the case may be, because my responsibilities will look different to what your responsibilities are. So without further ado, let's get into what I essentially did to reach this financial goal. So the first thing that I actually want to chat to, I'm presuming that we all know what an emergency fund is, which is essentially making sure that you have funds in place that can cover your necessities for a period of 3 to 6 months in the event of an emergency. 9 times out of 10, that emergency looks like you losing your primary source of income, right? So you want to have savings in place. So that's where we're actually going to kickstart this video, where you want to actually understand what are those necessities that you would need to cover on a month-to-month basis in the event of needing to tap into your emergency fund. You have a car to pay for, you've got school fees, you've got your medical aid, you've got car insurance, whatever the case may be. You need to have a fundamental understanding of what that figure is. Then obviously you're going to multiply it by 3, 4, 5 or 6, and then that's going to be the emergency fund figure that you're going to be working with. So what I did, and I think that this is a good starting point for everyone, is number one, you want to break that goal down into quarters. That's what I did. Either break it down into quarters or break it down into months, and say that this specific month or the next 2 or 3 months, this is how much I want to have saved. What that actually does for you is it helps your brain to not feel overwhelmed, because as soon as your brain thinks of this huge figure that you are trying to reach, it's easy for you to get overwhelmed and then just sabotage all of the progress that you have made. So instead of thinking of this huge figure that you're trying to save for, break it down into quarters and say, this quarter I actually want to save X amount. The reason why I also like this specific approach is because different quarters are going to require different sort of, how can I put it? For example, earlier in the year for me, I had a lot of things that needed me to be invested financially. So whether it's going home, that's going to need money. Whether it's attending a specific function outside of the province, that's going to need money. Whether it's doing 1, 2, 3. So different quarters are going to require different elements of you. So where a specific quarter was actually much more quieter from a finances obligation, then I would know that I can actually save a little bit more. So that's number one. Break that goal down into little chunks. The next thing that you want to do is any additional cash flow. So where you have windfalls or additional funds that come into your account, you want to redirect those directly into your emergency fund. So I'm going to make a practical example with regards to this. When you do get, for example, your tax refund, which was the case with me, I decided that, you know what, this is a reasonable refund, but I'm not going to touch it. I probably touched 10% of it because I also wanted to, enjoy myself a little. But 90% of that amount I did not even touch. I took it straight to my emergency fund. And what was great was it was not something that I was necessarily anticipating. And it really helped accelerate the process. So that might look like a bonus. That might look like I said, if you do have excess money coming your way, because I think a lot of people, when there is excess money, it comes with excitement and it's, oh my word, I've got this excess money that I wasn't expecting, therefore I'm going to go out there and I'm going to have a good time. And that's not the approach that you want to have. For me, whenever I did have a windfall, even when it came to increments in my salary, which sounds a little bit crazy, but where there was an increment and I felt as though, you know what, I don't necessarily need to tap into this money right now. That increment was actually going into my emergency fund, which then segues nicely into the third thing that I want to talk to, which is limiting lifestyle creep. I think I've chatted to this principle before, and it's something that I really believe in. I'm not saying that one shouldn't make your life more comfortable, because you're obviously working hard and you're working hard so that you can have a comfortable life, but you want to make sure that it is at a pace that is making sense and that you're not increasing your lifestyle at an exponential rate, at the mercy of your goals and the things that actually matter. So for me, I decided to take it slowly, and I said, you know what, I'm okay right now. Things are comfortable. I've got a car that takes me from point A to point B. I don't need to be upgrading my lifestyle. Things are going okay. So with that mentality, it meant that it allowed me to actually put that extra money that I would have otherwise used for sort of the lifestyle creep to rather plow back into my emergency fund, right? So that is something that I really think is pretty important, and something that can really accelerate you reaching your emergency fund a lot quicker. The next thing that I want to chat to is make sure that your goals are congruent, or make sure that your goals are harmonious with one another. And what do I essentially mean by this? Essentially, if you have a financial goal to have a fully funded emergency fund, the other goals in the other buckets that I talked to must not be in direct conflict with the specific goal. They must essentially talk to the specific goal. So if you wanted to, let's say, travel more, this was a specific goal that you had, for yourself in a specific year. You wanted to have an international trip, or you just wanted to be someone who's always traveling. Traveling isn't necessarily the cheapest thing out there, especially if it involves an international trip, just as an example. So if you have those two goals and you're trying to achieve them simultaneously, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it just makes reaching both goals go a little bit slower, as opposed to focusing on one, reaching that one, and then focusing on the other. So that's essentially the approach that I took. I looked at all of my goals and I wanted to understand, are these goals actually congruent? Do they talk to one another? So where I wanted to have a goal where the fundamental requirement is that there would be money going out of my account, I would put brakes on that specific goal and I would decide, you know what, this is the more important goal right now. And once I'm done with this, then I can look at the other goal that's going to require me to have money leaving my account. So that's one thing that I want to emphasize, that look at your goals holistically and don't look at them in silos, because it's going to help you understand whether or not those goals are talking to one another. The next thing that I want to talk to is the importance of having an emergency fund tracker. In the beginning of the video, I talked to the importance of essentially, you know, breaking down that goal into quarters. So what I actually did is I had a tracker, which was a monthly tracker. And if I say that in the next 3 months, I want to have saved X amount, at the end of that 3 months, I want to know, where did I land? Am I above that specific goal? Am I behind that specific goal? Because then it's telling me whether I am on track or not. If I am on track, it's good. If I'm not on track, I want to understand, what am I doing wrong? And if I am, you know, if I've saved more than I've anticipated, obviously then that's good. Then that means that the needle is moving in the right direction. And then the last point actually also talks to the one that I just talked to right now, which is when you're tracking your progress, you want to make sure that you are not sabotaging, or you are limiting the potential to sabotage your progress by keeping those funds in a separate account and making sure that they are automated. So that is something that I did, where before anything, I don't even think I've seen my full salary sitting in my bank account for too long, because as soon as my salary hits my bank account, there's a specific amount that, you know, diverts out of my account into my emergency fund. It's automated. So you want to make sure that you are automating it. When you give your brain a chance to think about it, your brain is going to think about it and it's going to think, you know what, actually I do have other problems. Actually, I do have other things that I feel like I could do with this money. And before you know it, that specific month goes without you contributing to that specific emergency fund. So make sure that it's automated. That's number one. Number two, make sure that wherever you are putting your emergency fund is not easily accessible. Obviously, you want your emergency fund to be liquid. In other words, you want it to be relatively easily accessible. That's the whole point of an emergency fund, that you have those funds there to access when you need them. But one thing that I think is really important is you want it to be out of sight, because then it's going to be out of mind. If it's in a random savings pocket, you know, in your transactional account, there's too much room for temptation, and you want to take away as much room for temptation as you possibly can. So that's essentially all of the things that I did to make sure that I reach my emergency fund goal. And I'm at a place now where I'm really, really, number one, very proud of myself, but also there is comfort in the back of my mind to say that, you know what, if anything should pop off, God forbid, God forbid, I do have a buffer, and that is a peace of mind that can not even be compared to anything else. So I hope that it's motivated you to also sort of hone in on that specific goal and be okay with making the compromises in the short term, because you want to make sure that you are in a secure position. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next one.